All right, guys. All right, West LA, welcome to the Season 8 playoff special. We're in the Christmas mood here, the holiday mood, as we are going to break down the playoffs this season. And, of course, that was Jake Purdy's band, After Romeo, and their Christmas album. So it's only fitting we play a little bit of Jake's music as we celebrate the second championship by Make 'em Pay, as they're right in line with West LA and their the three-peat history we got going on. So we're going to break down the games. We got a special panel here tonight. Our faithful usual panel. We got Brandy Tucker from Make 'em Pay. Brandy, all I do is win championships, Tucker. How you doing, Brandy?
I'm good, thanks.
Brandy's won 2 championships in the last 2 weeks, so congratulations on your EFL championship as well. We got Diane, Flagpole Ninja Tanwakio. How you doing, Santa?
Ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho.
All right, and we got Kenny, I believe 2-time MVP of West LA. Is that correct, Kenny? How you doing, buddy?
No, I've just got one, but that's okay. No,
it seems more than that.
But either way, I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy to be here, and it's fun, and hopefully you guys can hear me while I'm on the 10 here. I won't be looking at the camera too much. Drive safe.
Loud and clear. All right, and our special player of the night. Welcome to the show, buddy. Congratulations. Your second championship. This is your third now in what? About a month and a half. I know you got a bunch in other leagues, but congratulations. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, guys. Let's jump right into things. Obviously, we're a couple of weeks out from playoffs, but I think it's still fresh in our minds. So let's kind of go around the horn and talk a little bit about our first round matchups that we had. Let's start the day or the night on the first game of the day, Hugs and Kisses and BSB, Kenny and Diane. Kenny, why don't you take us into that game? It was your first game of the day. You guys were coming in, and it looks like you guys handled them pretty well. But kind of take us through that one a little bit, and then we'll let Diane talk.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say we handled them well. I feel like, I don't know. I mean, we definitely handled the score. The score at the end of the day, and I'll screw it up a little bit. I know we're in the 20s, and they got their last touchdown late. But, yeah, I mean, we controlled the game pretty well on offense. We didn't look to score on too many real big plays. Just a lot of control and execution. Jeff Burns got a couple picks. I think it was 2 at the end of the day, almost had a third. So that was, I think, the biggest kind of keys to the game. And just, as usual, our keys was solid defense and trying to just keep the offense moving. Alex Klenner got a touchdown kind of late to cover the point spread for Backstreet. So, some of us got our money there. And obviously Diane was all over the place pulling flags. She could not be stopped.
I mean, it was the lowest scoring game of the day, so definitely both defenses came up big. Diane, on your end, so I mean, it looks like you guys kind of held them in check. What was going on the offensive side? You guys couldn't get anything going, or?
It was really weird in that I think we all felt like we were playing well, and it just wasn't being reflected on the scoreboard. We were moving the ball. We would, get to the red zone, and then, Hugs would make a 4th down stop at the end zone. They were really good at stopping our deep game. So CJ and Mitch didn't really get very much deep. But yeah, I felt like we were, we didn't give up any big plays really to Hugs. We had a plan on gender defense that I felt like we did pretty well. And so it was one of those games where, we felt like we were playing, to kind of match Hugs, but, we just weren't, punching it in and actually scoring.
Kenny, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Diane's pretty, on there. We got, I remember, I think every interception that Jeff had was on, within the 40 at least, maybe even the 20. She's right. I don't remember any real big play. We tried for a big play, but Neil had a real good hold, unfortunately. But in general, yeah, they were right there. I think, they just couldn't get it in, or which isn't a sex joke. But yeah, no, they just couldn't get it in. You know, they had some issues on that front. So, and I don't know much about that. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. So you guys moved on to the second round. The other first round game that we had, Public Enemy and Black Lightning. I had showed up right after the end of this game, and you know, a lot of people said you know, Public Enemy was on the ropes in that game. Went to an overtime matchup. So why don't we talk a little bit about that one? Diane, you said you saw a little bit. Why don't you start us off? Or Brandy, do you want to kind of chime in? Did you see anything in that game?
I did actually.
Yeah. Okay.
I saw some, and it was surprising because I remember asking. I looked and I didn't see Donnie, and Genevieve told me that she's playing in the basketball, playoffs. And says, but they'll be fine, and they'll have her for the next game.
Yeah.
So then I see that they're going to overtime, and by the way, it was a very heated game, already contested and being chippy in the end zone naturally. And then I tell Genevieve that it's going into overtime, and I will never forget her face. And she goes, "Oh, fuck me." Obviously, nobody expected that. Like my favorite Genevieve moment of all time, I think, her face.
That's hilarious.
It was like that. I had to take off the glasses too.
In overtime, so did Public Enemy get the ball first, or did?
No, second.
Second. Okay, so basically, Black Lightning got the ball, didn't score, and then. Public Enemy
so it was the Public Enemy defense held, during overtime, and then, third down, it just became gender play, and I believe Danny was the one who scored gender play to win, to win the game.
Nice.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So yeah, Public Enemy kind of squeaked by. They got, all their players coming back after basketball after that one. Mike, did you see any of that game as you were kind of getting prepared for your NWA matchup?
Yeah, I kind of caught on when it was still regulation. I think Black Lightning came up with some crucial catches just to force overtime, and then a couple of defensive stops when I think PE was in the red zone. One of the girls kind of mossed. I'm not sure which girl it was from PE, but she came up with a big pick and also a score. So yeah, I mean they were fighting. I'm not sure what the spread was, but. They kind of forgot about it and were playing their tails off.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it was a game that, I would say it was the game that everybody thought was for sure a lock. And, sometimes when that's underestimated, sometimes, teams will sneak up on you.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely tough loss for Black Lightning to be right there at the end. Jonah's brothers and sisters in New Breccia, so that was our second hour first round matchup. New Breccia wins 24-12 in that one. I caught a little bit of that one, but let's see, Diane, you and Kenny would have been done with your game. Did you guys get to catch any of that?
I saw right at the beginning the first drive by Jonas Brothers. It was the first play of the game where Mute got an interception. And so I think that, took away, any momentum that Jonas Brothers would have had. It's always a little demoralizing first play of the game, to turn it over. And so I think they were just kind of playing
foreshadow
the rest of the time. I saw a nice pick that Amber White had on a gender play. Let's see, Alyssa Perella had a good game that day. I think even a play where, she was just kind of running behind the receiver, and she's like, "Give me the pitch!" And I think she got a good 8 to 10 yards from that, which was fun to see. So, I think it was just you had the momentum early on, and in a playoff game that makes a huge difference.
Yeah. Kenny, were you able to see anything in that game?
No, I was watching the NWA Make 'em Pay game because we were going to end up playing the winner of that one. So, I just was kind of afar. I can't really comment, unfortunately. To that
well, let's jump into that. So New Breccia, takes down Jonas Brothers and Sisters, tight fit game there. So the Make 'em Pay NWA. So this is probably, outside of, like you guys said, the Black Lightning Public Enemy game, I think a lot of people were surprised at, Make 'em Pay obviously is a great team, but at how well they handled NWA. So that game goes down 40-14. Kenny, why don't you start us off with that one since you were kind of watching?
Yeah, I know and again, I'm not taking anything away from Make 'em Pay. They're clearly an amazing team. I've been touting them for I feel like 4 seasons now. I know that NWA started off a little slow. Sarley was late. And just watching from afar, it seemed like it was kind of back and forthish to start, but then Make 'em Pay just kept. They just couldn't be stopped. Honestly, I was just going, all right, score, 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 score.
Yeah.
And Sarley got there and played well, but they were just, and this is a general theme for them for the day. And I was joking. I don't know if it was in our text messages or what. The PED controversy that I need to see and get answered, but it was. Jake's a good quarterback. We all know that, but he did almost like what Lawrence did last season during the playoffs. It was like he was in a different mode all day. Most quarterbacks are due for a turnover or two, whether it's an interception or a stop. But I think on the entire day, he might have been stopped once, and it was right before half of our game. I think that was the only time. They were on point. I remember Mike, towards the end of the game when it was pretty locked up, there was this sick pass into the corner for a it might have been third or fourth. It might have been when they were pulling away. But just the way Mike caught the ball and turned around, that may have been the championship. I don't remember. I was such a blur. But they were just amazing. So,
Yeah, and
here's the thing I want to say is the only team that beat Make 'em Pay in the regular season was Make 'em Pay. So while everybody else was surprised by the results, we were not. That's what we expected.
And I walked up to Chris after that game and I said, "Chris, what happened?" And all he said to me was, "Walk away, Nate." So he wasn't very good after that. Mike, here's a question for you. So you've won 2 championships now, one with Lawrence, one with Jake. When you're out there with those two, what's the biggest difference between the two? Obviously they're both great quarterbacks. They both taken you down that, the road to the championship.
The biggest difference, I think, is Lawrence is more prone to probably use his feet, a little bit more mobile than Jake. Jake is really pinpoint, so Jake can probably hit a dime on a barnyard. He can hit it anywhere. So I think it's a bit different. But Lawrence, he's played with us often as well. I'm not sure if you know that, but Jake and Lawrence and I, we've all played in other leagues, and so we played with Lawrence. We played with Jake, so we're very comfortable with both of them. Lawrence is someone who knows what we want to do. He understands the game plan. So anytime he gets in there, he knows if we like fades, if we like slants. He knows how to read the defense just as well. Or we have like our little signals that we do. So no one really catches on. But they're both polished, and so we're pretty blessed to have them both on the team.
Definitely. Nice. Well, all right. So you guys, handled the NWA pretty easily. Moving on to the semifinal game, and let's jump right back into that.
Wait, I want to really quick. I'm going to add on. So Andrew Tyree, before the game, Adam had brought our Valley trophy and said that I could take it home, and then Andrew saw it and he grabbed it first. And I said, okay, how about this? The winner of our game gets to take the trophy home. And Andrew said no, he does not want to make that bet. And I said, really? You don't feel confident, huh? And then after the game, he goes, see, that's why I didn't want to make that bet.
Called him out.
For some reason, I don't know, he didn't want to make that bet.
Just to touch on what Brandon said, I think we did have a lot going on in the regular season where we were kind of beating ourselves. Every team that we played and that we lost to, they came at us like we were the champions and they were always ready, and that's why we lost. We were had a little frustration, a little fracture, but we got together before the playoffs, as you see, and that was probably the more like the Make 'em Pay that you're used to seeing is how we play in the playoffs. So
yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, yeah. So like I said, you guys move on. Kenny, you watched a little bit of that game. You saw how much their offense was gelling. What's your thoughts coming into that, and what you guys need to do to beat them? Kenny,
give us a blueprint.
I lost you a little bit there, Nate. Sorry.
Okay, so
say that one more time.
So watching their game,
or someone else chime in.
Yeah. So watching their game and seeing how well they were moving the ball against a good NWA game. What's your thought going into that game, and what's your game plan to try and beat them at that point? All right. Kenny's going to be
Okay.
Kenny, I'll come back to you.
He's not giving anything away.
Yeah, come back.
Yeah.
All right, Diane, did you get a chance to watch this game? Why don't we let you chime in a little bit on what you saw with these guys all kind of going up against each other as an outsider?
Well, Hugs and Make 'em Pay, they know how to play a fun, exciting game to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And so this one was very like back and forth. Someone who stuck out for me was Kevin Massey on Make 'em Pay. He's such a big body. He's got great hands, and he and Jake have great chemistry together. And so, Jake was definitely going to him a lot. Let's see what else. Clark, the usual suspect. A lot of, kind of those short passes. But yeah, like the last 4 minutes of that game was, a blast just as a spectator because, all of a sudden, Make 'em Pay goes up and, I was actually doing play-by-play for Laney all through like the final 4 minutes, and it was just like, then Hugs and Kisses, drives in and, third down, they, get the touchdown on a gender play, I think. And then, with a minute left, Make 'em Pay gets the ball again. And so it's such a fun back and forth game those final few minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was kind of on the sideline at that point too. And Randy, I know you kind of got ran over on that final play. Do you remember much about the game?
Yeah, I mean, I remember the back and forth nature of it, and just I don't know, but it always felt like it just felt like we were going to win. After that first game and the way Jake was playing and how well we were together, I never doubted it. And it was great. Like Jake played absolutely perfect, and he played like the quarterback we all knew he was. So yeah, I would have preferred to not have the concussion, but all in all, it was a good game.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, just those last couple back and forth, but remember like Hugs, the 3 seasons of winning, championships, and last year obviously that didn't happen. But I remember thinking, this looks like the old Hugs team again. It's going to be close. It came down to that last. You guys really had to earn that win. It's not like. Yeah,
that was our hardest game of the day for sure. That was definitely our hardest game. And I will say the theme of our, we always like to have a theme. It seems like of the playoffs. Our theme this season was, thanks to Lawrence, get picks. And so, of course, it's only fitting that Lawrence started off by picking Kenny on the first play.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys can hear me.
No, we can, yeah.
And yeah. So Nate, I'm not sure exactly what your question was. I think it had to be with how were you getting ready for Make 'em Pay? They look great. That type of thing. So I'll give my little analysis of the game, and a good segue is exactly what Brandy said. And I mentioned foreshadowing earlier, and I kind of put this loss on me. That first play, I got distracted with something, and then horrible pass. Lawrence, I threw it right into his chest, and it was my fault, and I was just like, great way to start the game, Kenny. First play, pick, and the funny thing is, I felt great. I didn't I felt like on point all day except for that one pass. And
I think Lawrence was trying to bait you into that throw anyway.
I think he Jedi mind tricked you.
Yeah,
he might have. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gave you that look.
I'll give him credit, and I give him credit for it. I was disappointed in myself, needless to say. But more importantly to the rest of the game, and it was a lot of back and forth, and it was I'd say a typical Make 'em Pay Hugs game. I think I want to say every single one of our games have been like that. Where it's kind of somebody either comes back or it's a tight game, and who's got the ball last is going to win, and we had the ball last, but there was nothing we could do. They had a great kick. I think we had 5 seconds to try to pull off something that was just, it wasn't going to happen, and and they made sure it didn't. And Diane mentioned Kevin. And him and Clark were definitely big factors in that game along with Jake. And, I think that, I remember Clark specifically got a huge 4th down. I think it was like 4th and 15. And it was a great play. They converted on a good drag across the the field. We were about 10 or 15 yards deep, and that I think solidified it for them. And stopping us right before the half, I think that was our only stop of the day on them, and we couldn't put something together in the short time that we had then. And they deserve the win. And they did. They all played well and played good. And I look forward to playing these guys for many seasons to come. They're a good team.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, hell of a semifinal game. So Make 'em Pay moves on. The big win against Hugs and Kisses, and they basically move on to the championship. So the other semifinal game, Public Enemy and Ubrecha. So Public Enemy wins this one 25-18. And this one came down to the last play of the game. If you guys remember, I think all of us were kind of watching that at that point.
Oh yeah.
So Diane, or actually, Mike, why don't you chime in what you saw in that game as you guys were you finished with your game yet or no?
We had just kind of finished, and then we saw this gender play where Joey the ball and chucks it to Caker. Caker looks like he is gone. Like he's gonna score, but Ron D with that stride kind of like walked him down and got him like right on the 5. So
yeah, I told Caker he's got to work on his 40 time because he was gone and got caught on the 10-yard line.
Yeah, his hair was going everywhere. You know how Caker runs with his hair. I think that was slowing him down, but he got caught like on the 5, like 30 yards away from winning that game. So I was cracking up watching that kid run. I mean, I think Caker. He really stepped up this year, this season, because I know last year he made a bonehead mistake and he vowed to not make the mistake, and I think he did that. He played pretty solid, spreading the ball to much of his team, and like I said, they were 5 yards away from winning that game.
I mean, that touchdown would have put them within, they were 7 points down, so they had 1 point for the tie, 2 for the win, so it would have made it interesting. And on that note, I mean, I had plenty of people I talked to after that game talk about, Caker's development, how much better he's gotten as a quarterback. So, I mean, definitely props to him for working on his game and, getting it to where it is now.
Yeah, Jared watched all of that game, and he said that he's never seen Ubrecha play like that before, that they were a different team. Like, they were playing on a mission and just the best he's ever seen, like above and beyond. So it says a lot for them, to pull it together like that. And
I mean, I guess as you noted earlier, that Caker's going to be leaving us, I guess, after the season, correct? And he's going to be playing semi-pro in Europe. Is that correct?
I think. Mike, right?
Yeah, well, I know he's playing some semi-pro, so I'm not sure when exactly that kid leaves. So.
Well, congrats to that for opportunity, and we're gonna. Caker's a great guy. We're gonna miss him, and I mean he's gonna be awesome over there. So, Diane, you want to add anything to that game that you saw? Or?
I didn't really see much other than kind of that last play. But yeah, both the game against Jonas Brothers and Public Enemy, if this is Caker's last season, it's a good send off. Considering all of the kind of drama I think that tends to surround him. It's a feel good moment.
Yeah, definitely. So all right, so Public Enemy moves on. Barely against Ubrecha, and we have a rematch of last season. So, Make 'em Pay, you guys. You're coming into this game. You played these guys a couple of times now in the last 2 years. You beat them last year. I mean, Brandy, is your confidence riding pretty high at this point, or what's your thought?
Yeah. Well, like I was also like, I was very slowly walking to the field. Like I said, not realizing I was concussed, but. Yeah, knowing that they had 2 very close games prior against lower seed teams that they had easily beat in the playoffs, I felt really good about that game. Al played like good games, but he not many people know, but he had earlier in the week spent 3 straight days in the hospital because of like really bad asthma. So. I don't think he's definitely not completely himself. So, but yeah, I felt really good about that game and felt like we definitely were going to get another championship.
Mike, what about you? So you're coming in your second championship in a row. Same thoughts? I mean, what's kind of going through your head? What you need to do? Keep the.
Well, for me, it was just like, Hugs was our toughest matchup, so I knew once we got past them that it was going to be a fun championship game. Like I enjoy playing every one of those teams. I think Public Enemy always has some challenges, especially with Ron Dean back there creeping at safety or corner. I think Ashley was someone who wanted to attack the seams on us, but I think we, for the most part, kept them out of their comfort zone. With certain things they like to do, we try to keep Al contained as far as running. I think he actually scored his first touchdown running, so we had to regroup and just, get back to our game plan. But for the most part, like I said, it was a fun matchup. I enjoyed playing them.
Yeah. All right, Kenny, you with us? No, Kenny's gone. Diane, kind of final thoughts on this one. So, I mean, it looks like it came down. It's 36-24. I think it looks closer than the game actually was. I mean, was there kind of a breaking point in that game which, make them pay kind of stepped away?
This one was interesting in that, nobody scored for the first,
That's true.
12 minutes.
I forgot about that, yeah.
It just, turnover after turnover. And, it's so unlike the two teams. And I felt like, Make 'em Pay really just kind of brushed it off and continued playing their game. But I felt like something was off with Public Enemy, and that might have, kind of attributed to that. And so I think that they were kind of getting in their own heads. You could kind of see the frustration, overall. And so, I think once they were engaged in that defensive battle, Make 'em Pay responded in a different way than Public Enemy did, and, just kind of got out of control from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Al definitely wasn't in his self. Honestly, I don't think he should have been playing, but I know he didn't want to let down his teammates, and I'm sure they put a lot of pressure on him to play because they don't have any other options. Granted,
Talk about people who shouldn't be playing.
I shouldn't have been playing either, but
But much respect to Al and Brandy for sneaking out to the field. Hey, how you doing?
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Go ahead. Say what you got to say.
Maya, do you have anything to contribute? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Okay.
What were you saying, Mike?
Oh, I was just saying, big respect to, Brandy and Al. Brandy had kind of told us that Al was in the hospital, and we were kind of worried about him. So, we sent our thoughts to him, but we were glad that he was able to make it and play because, I mean, that's the team we want to play is their full team, and it was a little crazy in the beginning, I think, with the turnovers. But I think after we, like Diane said, we brushed it off. I think we were on a roll after that, and
yeah.
I mean, that's when we started the game.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, you guys take the Season 8 championship with that win, and now you just got to get your trifecta to join Hugs and Recess in the championship, three-peat. So
that's right.
We're
coming at you guys.
Yeah. Kenny says if we don't get 3, it doesn't count. So
and we need to fix that trophy for Kenny since
that's right.
The Hugs.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we'll wrap things up. I got a great question for you as we wrap up. We just wrapped up our 8th season of West LA, obviously Premier Social. So if we were to have our first ever LASN Madden cover, who would you put on the cover? And before I get into that, our Season 8 MVPs were Kier Frazier again and Arlen Escarpita, who both had amazing seasons. So, Brandy.
Wait, no. Rondine.
Oh, sorry, not Arlen, Rondine. I'm so sorry.
Racist.
Yes. So Rondine took home the MVPs. Thanks, Kenny.
No
so, Brandy, if you're looking at all 8 of our seasons, you have one player to put on the cover beginning next season. Who's it going to be?
Think of all seasons?
So, yeah, if this is our first LASN Madden cover.
I think it has to be Al.
Al's won, I think, three MVPs, mostly dominates every season. Okay, it's a good choice. What about you, Diane? What would you pick?
I would choose the undisputed queen of the hallway, Kate Lilly. Just with
good choice.
she's had. Or I'd pick Kenny. Kind of makes an imposing figure with all the layers. And kind of got that distinctive look going on with the cap and all of that, so I can see that. Those would be my top 2 choices.
Okay, all right. What about you, Kenny?
First thought was Kira, actually. I think she's got the most MVPs out of anybody, male or female.
Yeah.
Another part of the Madden cover isn't just necessarily, a historical figure of the league. It's, who's going to be a big beast next season and coming in, and, or who did something big. So, in that regard, you think of someone like a Jake or, someone from Make 'em Pay. You pick somebody, Kevin Massey's coming to mind, or even Clark, or Jaleesa. I guess if you're forcing me to pick, I'm probably going to say Kira, though, because she's still going to be awesome next season.
That's a great choice. What about you, Mike?
I was going to go with Al, but I think Kenny brought up someone that, also I think people – she's done a lot. I think Jaleesa's done a lot, but, we have other girls on the team, and it's hard for, someone like a Kate Lilly or even a Jaleesa to really show out, if – you got another girl next to you who's balling out, like Brandy balls out. Rosie has some of the best routes in the league. So, and then Bree gets picked. So it's kind of tough when your girls are stacked or your guys are stacked to really show out. But yeah, I would probably go with Jaleesa as far as a girl.
Nice.
If I had to pick a guy, maybe Kenny or Al.
Nice. Yeah, we're lucky to have so many great players in this league. So it's a great tough question. So all right, guys. Well, thanks a lot. Wrapping things up.
Nate, hold on. The question, what about for you? Who'd you put on the cover? Are you allowed to answer that? Come on.
Can I put Genevieve?
I've got a conflict of interest.
I'm going to put Genevieve Flores because of how much amazing work she's put into making this league a success.
Good answer, Nate.
Maybe Jen.
You got to put a steamboat.
Yeah,
steamboat.
Yeah, at least one steamboat.
Thanks again. Season 8's in the book. Season 9 registration is up. We start the 25th of January, I believe, so we got a couple of weeks off. Have a great holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll see you guys when we get back. Come on out and watch the girls play on the 9th of January. We have a charity tournament out at Penmont. So, yeah. All right, thanks again, guys. And we'll see you all soon. All right.